Hey, this is John from Turbot. If you're looking for quick demos of Steampipe, you're in the right place. This is the new plugin block for Steampipe configuration files. Those are the .spc files that you use to set up connections and aggregators. It controls two new features that help you keep Steampipe running smoothly at scale: memory management and limiters. Let's start with memory management, which you can configure in the plugin block or with a new environment variable. Use this setting to limit how much memory each plugin can use. There's also a global setting for the Steampipe process itself. If you're lucky, you won't need to use these settings, but if you do, you'll be glad you can. The other big new feature is limiting. We've got a new guide that tells you all about it. Let's dive in and see how limiters work. Here's a query that hammers an AWS API. Over here, we'll tail the log, and we'll see that there are a whole bunch of back-off delay attempts. These aren't errors. They're warnings to let you know the plugin's back-off retry mechanism is working. But it can get to be too much and can cause resource contention problems. So let's add a concurrency limiter in a plugin block. This will limit the number of concurrent calls to list, get, or hydrate functions that populate the rows returned by the query. You can use the new Steampipe plugin limiter table to see all the limiters. In some cases, as we see here with the exec plugin, there's a limit that's compiled into the plugin, which you can override in the config file. And here's the limiter we just defined, with max concurrency of just 10, purposely low so we can see what happens. If we run the same query again, you can see that it's running much more slowly. And there aren't any more back-off retry messages showing up in the log. So how do you find the optimal setting for something like this? You will need to experiment, but now you can. So that was a concurrency limiter. Now let's define a rate limiter. And this time, instead of grabbing the log for evidence that the limiter is working, we'll put Steampipe into diagnostic mode, where we'll see everything much more clearly. This is a single row of output that shows you each API call that fed results into the row. You can see the names of the functions that populated the row and the delays imposed for each of them. And you can get way more granular with these limiters. This configuration creates a limiter for one API call in one region. Why would you ever want to do that? Ideally, you'll never need to, but if you have to, you'll be glad that you can. And that's memory management, rate limiting, and diagnostics in a nutshell. When you need to, you can control how much memory Steampipe and its plugins use, and how aggressively plugins are allowed to call APIs. Use diagnostic mode to tune your limiters, and also to visualize how your Steampipe tables map to underlying API calls. You know how Explain Analyze opens a window into the database's query planner? The new diagnostic mode does that for Steampipe. Thanks for watching. If you want to try Steampipe for yourself, download it for free today at steampipe.io. See the video description for links and details.